time for me to re-review Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles HD for the PlayStation 3. Originally I made the review with text-to-speech before I got a microphone. So let's go ahead and redo it. What is Umbrella Chronicles HD? Well, it's an HD port of a Wii game, and it's of course a rail shooter and a retelling of Resident Evil 0, 1, 3, and then a new scenario which takes place in the Arctic, which tells the tale of Jill and Chris taking on an umbrella in Antarctica. The game can be played solo or with another person. It's entirely a rail shooter, so you're going to be using motion controls, or at worst a controller, which is not easy to play a rail shooter with. The game doesn't follow the original games one-to-one. There are alterations with characters not being there or being together, like Chris and Jill play Resident Evil 1 together. And they did butcher Resident Evil 3 by just reusing levels from the Outbreak games, basically, because the Resident Evil 3 version is nothing like the original game at all. They did not put no effort into the Resident Evil 3 version of this game. It's actually the worst part of the game. The game is pretty simple though. You just point, shoot the enemies until they're dead, shoot objects to try to find resources and bolster your score for more stars, so you can use the stars to upgrade your weapons. You can't choose the upgrades, and you can only upgrade to level 4. And also find files which can give you more details on the events of the Resident Evil games, as well as like concept art and stuff. My favorite scenario in this game is Resident Evil 1, because it feels like they put the most effort into it, and you don't just shoot a bunch of stupid monkeys like in Resident Evil 0. In fact, even the original Resident Evil 0 was not a good game, but it's more tolerable here in the rail shooter form, but it's still not a great game. Each game has 3 levels, 3 chapters, 3 stages, following the events from the beginning to the end. So you start in the train of Resident Evil 0, work your way into the Umbrella facility, and then the underground lab. In Resident Evil 1, you'll go from the mansion to the guardhouse to the lab. In Resident Evil 3, you'll start out in the streets, the subway, and then the RPD itself. The game overall is okay. I still prefer Darkside Chronicles because they had more quality of life improvements to it, and they put more effort into it. So I do wholeheartedly recommend this game with an easy thumbs up on a recommendation, but I don't consider it a great game, so I give it 3 stars out of 5 for average. I would still recommend Darkside Chronicles over Umbrella. Umbrella Chronicles did a good job starting things out, and Darkside improved upon it wholeheartedly. Anyways, that's it. See ya. After reviewing the first game in the dual series of rail shooters, I decided it's finally time to get to the last one, and best one, the Darkside Chronicles. With this sequel, they improved upon everything and put more effort into the retelling of previous games. This one only features 2 games and 1 original story that leads to the events of Resident Evil 4 with Operation Javier. The 2 retellings are Resident Evil 2 and Code Veronica. The sequel has a few quality of life improvements, such as herbs can now be stored and used when needed. You can also choose up to 3 weapons to bring with you instead of 1. You can also upgrade all weapons, including the handgun, which is a great addition, making it more reliable. Grenades are now their own weapon slot and must be equipped to be used. The weapons appear on screen during reloading, like in House of the Dead 3. You can unlock costumes in the game too. No weapons can get infinite ammo, unlike in Umbrella Chronicles, which required an S rank on all scenarios in hard mode to get. The only weapon with infinite ammo is the handgun. You can now use gold to upgrade weapons instead of stars, and can collect them in-game and completing scenarios. You can also shoot objects in the environment to destroy them to find weapons, secret files, and gold. There's also a health bar for your partner, and they can die if not careful, though I found this never happened for me because they're hardly ever targeted by the enemies in-game. You can also unlock Tofu Survivor mode, though it's not the same as in Resident Evil 2 Original. Instead, you play as Claire, alone, and you get to only use a handgun and knife, fighting against Tofu as the zombies. And you must work your way to the beginning of the game, where the tanker truck exploded. The biggest drawback to Darkside Chronicles, compared to Umbrella Chronicles, is the camera. They wanted to make it more action and cinematic and challenging, but in turn it leads to frustration, blurry vision, and motion sickness to those who cannot handle shaky cameras. As for the retelling, it's fairly accurate to the originals, with some alterations, such as the focus on Mr.X being called Trenchy by Leon as the major antagonist, though William Birkin is still a threat and has all his forms, though you fight him in a different place with 3 forms. You get to explore more of the sewers this time around too. Yay, sewers. #free civvy. I didn't mind this that much, as they did a good job with the, chemistry between Leon and Claire, giving them more depth and not butchering their character, unlike the shipmate of 2019. They also spend the game together, leading them to grow from strangers to friends, with Claire being quite sassy and a bit of a capital B towards Leon over Ada.
Where'd Ada go?
She could have gone to the parking lot. This will take us down to the sewer.
Let's go.
Wait, Leon. If she did come through here, why would she go alone? There's something about her that bothers me.
She just wants to get out of here, Claire. And she needs our help.
Men. You just want to impress her, don't you?
Women.
They made every character better in the game except for poor Kendo. He just gets killed off screen. As for Code Veronica, it's good as well, though I never was fond of the original or the X version of Code Veronica, so I'm not going to go into much details about this one. As for the original scenario, Operation Javier, you get to explore South America and the origins of the Veronica virus. And of course, there ain't much to say about it other than that it's a neat addition, and you get to see Leon and Krauser working together leading up to their showdown in Resident Evil 4. You get alternate endings depending on how long we took to beat the final boss, with one being the good ending. I won't spoil it, but it's a pretty good ending. There's a Krauser hidden story you can unlock to learn more from his perspective of the operation as well once you complete the game. Overall, I give the game an easy thumbs up on the recommendation part. I also give the game an easy 4 stars out of 5. It's a quality game, which you wouldn't expect from a rail shooter, but with a 2-year development, this game clearly outdoes the first, and leaves a good impression. I honestly wish they would make more, maybe focusing on 4 and 5 and telling more original stories to expand the lore of the series. Honestly, wish Capcom would also port these 2 games to PC already, given that the HD versions are still exclusive to the PS3 only, and it's been well over 11 years. But till then, we can at least emulate them in RPCS3, which runs the games quite well, which I was shocked by, given the emulator is a mixed bag experience with majority of games, even after 10 years of development. Anyways, that's it for this video. See y'all later. Subscribe for more if you enjoyed this. Bye.